Okay, for year 2-1, welcome back here. Your brother Lima asked me to help you all with the revision. So I will only go for surface one. So you all need to put your effort to go through the year 2, all the syllabus. Okay. So we start with junior part 2. Okay, we continue the life history of Buddha. So on the 8th day of renunciation, our Buddha, this ascetic Gautama visit the Rajagaha or alms round, and he happened to meet King Bimbisara. This Bimbisara was also a close associate of this Prince Siddhartha. So when the king met this Gautama, he offered half of his kingdom to him, but this ascetic rejected the king's offer, half of his kingdom, and make a promise to the king that he will visit once this ascetic Siddhartha attained enlightenment. Then he promised the king, I will come back again. So after he left this, he go and find teacher. He met the first teacher, Alara Kalama. And this ascetic Gautama, because of his past perfection, he speedily learned his doctrine and developed the Arupa Jhana, the advanced state of concentration. But this could not satisfy of his ending of suffering, and he left and approached the next teacher, Udaka Ramaputta. Here, this ascetic able to attain the final state of mental concentration, but still dissatisfied to end suffering, because the answer is end suffering. So he so frustrated that he left Udaka and searched the truth by oneself. Okay, there's a story of each teacher. Please go back and revise all over again. All right, I can't do everything within this short hour. So it happened that this 5 ascetic was wandering from village. Remember, one of them was the Asita, the nephew. He was one of these 5 ascetic. He was waiting to meet this Buddha for enlightenment. So he was one of the 5 ascetic wandering from villages, marketplaces, and towns from Ansrao, and so happened to meet ascetic Gautama, and thus became his followers. So as a head of the group, for 6 years, our Bodhisattva practiced severe austerity. I mean, self-mortification. In the olden day, that people practice, they believe that by torturing himself, you're able to gain kind of the truth, enlightenment. So he practiced all this austerity upon himself, and his followers who attain all his basic needs. So he followed in such a way that he took minimum food till 1 grain of rice a day, that his whole physical body broken down. So he exhausted himself and facing the death. I mean, he can't even breathe. Remember the figure when Buddha was practicing this, he can point the finger from the bottom of his belly and touch the other side of the body. So you just see how severe is it. Then our ascetic, he nearly fainted. So our ascetic came to conclusion that these 6 years of self-mortification will not lead him to enlightenment. So our ascetic started taking food from alms round, but in a way lost respect of the 5 followers who claimed that he had given up attaining enlightenment and thus deserted him. So when your leader of no standard already, all them abandon him. Then this ascetic, he chose a middle path. As you recall, during young days, remember the flowering festival? During his young day, he able to achieve first jhana under the rose apple tree during the flowering festival. So he called back the past, what happened. Then he remembered the incident. He then thought that was the right way and developed his mind through meditation. So, sorry, very long. Go and read yourself. I only give you a surface only. So we come to the next one. So our Buddha now need food. So Sujata, who married to a high status husband of equal standard of her. So this most Indian woman, they always trust the God. So when she had her first son, she made a vow to make a annual deity at a particular offering. Make an annual offering. Sorry, offering to the deity at a particular banyan tree. I mean, if my wish is answered, I'll make an offering annually to this deity at this particular banyan tree. They believe in all these gods. So it happened that our ascetic Gautama was dying at the foot of Ajapala banyan tree before going for Amsong. So ascetic Gautama was waiting for the right time to move. So this Sujata sent her slave servant Puna to do this offering of milk rice. So when Puna went to that tree, she mistook the ascetic as a deity coming down from the tree to receive offering and delighted to report this event to this Sujata. So, and then this ascetic Gautama with this milk rice, he prepared it divided into 49 lumps, and Patu means to take it to satisfy his hunger, because he's going to sit there for the next 7 weeks, 49 days. And then there's a grass cutter, Sotiya. He offered 8 handfuls of Pusat grass at the foot of Bodhi tree to Buddha for him to sit comfortably to practice meditation in order to achieve enlightenment. So all these things you're doing for the ascetic, in a way, it benefits you, because all this causing the enlightenment, you will be creating merits for yourself. And remember, Mara always come and disturb. Mara, in a way, is a sort of mental thought. So once sitting under a tree, this ascetic sitting under a tree, Mara, the thoughts come. He assembled his entire force with all the kind of weapons and animals to drive Gautama out of his sitting position. Because if he ever get enlightened, Mara will be the loser. So Mara always want to ask Buddha to give up. So Gautama used his 10 perfection to fight back. This is an illusion battle. To fight back, and all those weapons that stone had thrown to him turned to flower, ruby, etc. under his feet. This is what is described in the text. So the Mara army was defeated as narrated in the Jaya Mangala Gatha. Right? If you happen to read this Jaya Mangala Gatha, it tells what happened during that incident. With full concentration, Gautama pursued his path to enlightenment. So with this conquer, Buddha, this ascetic continue to seek his enlightenment. So all this need to go back and read. I give you surface only. So next one, you need to know thoroughly the 7 weeks he sat under the tree and what happened in every week before he finally gained the full enlightenment. So for the first week, this ascetic sat under a cool concentration, and he reflected on the dependent origination, to and fro, and the other way also, vice versa. And then he understood that there can be no first cause, because each cause becomes an effect of a cause. I mean, there's something that causes an effect. That's why for other religion, they every day still fighting the first cause. Whether the chicken comes first or the egg comes first. Until today, there is still no answer. So this is our Buddhist explanation. There must be always a cause, then there's an effect. So second week, he performed twin miracle. Because after sitting there, he came back, he got some enlightenment. But those deities surrounding there and dogs, whether he was such thing or not. So to dispel the doubt of some deities, he did this by floating himself in the sky. This is a twin miracle. So gazing motionless the Bodhi tree as a mark of respect attitude. This is perform the twin miracle. I mean the rainbow color coming out from his body. So all this is the very first time, remember, first time he performed this for the deity to satisfy them, to stop talking about all the nonsense. So all them respect him. And then this second week, he also, our Buddha very kind one. He give gratitude by gazing at the Bodhi tree, which shelter him for the first 14 days. So our Buddha very appreciative. Same thing when you practice Buddhism. Please be appreciative. Time for you to do something good. Please do it back for the good of the work of this Buddha Sasana. Then third week, he created this jewel promenade from the place that he's sitting and graze a Bodhi tree and walk up and down for a week. So the third week, he did a jewel promenade. And this one all very brief. Go back and read thoroughly. When they test you all this first, second week, third week, you need to know it very well. And then in fourth week, he created a jewel chamber and spent a week contemplating on Patana, the cause and effect one. This is Abhidhamma one. So Buddha, at this moment, when he contemplated Patana, his body purified and the 6 color rays emit from the body. This is another miracle which he created because of this Patana. So on the 5th week, our Buddha really attained this called enlightenment. He's not enjoying the bliss of emancipation. When this mama, the cow always kind of disturbed. He sent the 3 daughters with intention of subjugating the blessed one. I mean, ask him to give up all his practices. But our Buddha have no effect on whatever this lady offered to them. So they fail their mission and disappear themselves. So all these ladies disappear. So on the 6th week, another event happened. The heavy rain came and descended upon our Buddha. And then, under the Bodhi tree, no protection. So it was said that this Naga king, Machulinda, he coiled around Buddha body to provide him, shelter him from rain, cold, mosquito, and reptiles till the rain stopped. After the rain, this Naga appeared as a human form and pay respect to the Buddha. This is the 6th week. You need to know every week, okay? Please go back and read thoroughly. Then the 7th week, our Buddha spent enjoying the bliss of emancipation. And by now, already reached the end of his fasting. So he need food. And it happened that 2 merchants, Tapasu and Bala Luka, offer duck. Duck is a flour kind of thing, and honey to our Buddha. So our Buddha need food. So by doing this offering, the very first food after 49 days, this is a great performance of dana. So Bo Merchant, after the dana, he took the refuge of Buddha and Dhamma. During this time, no Sangha, only two only. So they are the first two laymen to embrace Buddhism. So what happened next? It was said that Buddha gives some lock of his hair to the merchants and enshrine in Sritagong in Rangoon, in Burma. You go to Burma, the golden temple down there. They believe that his hair belonged to Buddha. All these follow the YMBA text. You better stick to what YMBA say. So just follow them. You know, they were tested according to the text. And next event come. Buddha was reflecting to preach or not to preach to the masses, as he saw that all these people are attracted to sensual pleasure and difficult for them to understand his profound teaching. He found that all these people in this world, many have very high, low capacity to understand his teaching. But immediately, this Maha Brahma Sahapati, he read the mind of Buddha and immediately descended from heaven and appeared in front of Buddha. So he pleaded with the blessed one for 3 times to ask him to teach. And he said that they are not all blinded. There are some human beings who had less dust in their eyes. So he pleaded 3 times before our Buddha accepted. So Buddha started thinking, what I'm going to give to the first person. So Buddha wanted to pass the knowledge to his 2 teachers, remember early teachers, Alala and Udaka. But found both of them were dead. Then recall next. Remember the 5 ascetics who were previously his companion. And the next target. So on the way to Gaya, our Buddha met this ascetic Upaka. This ascetic was impressed with the physical appearance of Buddha and asked him who was his teacher. Because in the old time, you are impressed with the other, you ask for who was your teacher. And Buddha replied that he learned and discovered on his own. So what you need, there's a YMBA text, the Dhamma Chakkavata Sutta. You read it and understand it well. Please go back and read. You need to read and understand how Buddha recruit Yasa and his friend joining and forming the beginning of the Sangha order. Right? How he recruited all these people for his first Sangha order and sending the first 60 Arahant to different directions to spread Buddhism. Remember the 5? This is the next one, next group of people he recruited. Next, you need to read and understand how Buddha converted 1,000 Datilas, the fire worship, to monks. This formed the bigger Sangha order. This is how Buddhism able to expand. Please go back and read. Then you need to know Buddha visit to Sri Lanka. Year 2, please go and read. There are many things more than year 1. And that Dhamma is more than your Abhidhamma. Your Abhidhamma actually very little. So all this you need to go and learn and revise to refresh your knowledge again. First visit, when he used the divine eye, he saw the need to settle dispute between 2 Yakatas who are ready to wage war on each other. So with his psychic power, he flew to the air and then drove all the parties away. And then he delivered a sermon to God Sumana and also a million terrestrial deities, where the present Mahayana Sutta is erected. It's a place where they believe that Buddha was there to stop a war. Then second visit is on the 6 years of his ministry to settle dispute between two Naga kings, King Chulodra and Mahodara, over a jewel-studded throne. They're fighting over a throne. So our Buddha appeared in the sky, seen by these two armies ready for battle. So the blessed one delivered a sermon to all those that are there, the benefits of being united. So both parties were satisfied and offered food to Buddha and took to refuge. Third visit is on the 8th year of the ministry of the Buddha. At the request of a Thera at this Sri Lanka, he planted his footprint at this Mount Sagabada. So the rest of the stuff, you read out your own self about Buddha stay with the Bhikkhu at various places in this Sri Lanka. Third visit, he performed a lot of things. Okay? Now this mountain, they call it Sripada. Down there is very famous nowadays. You go down there, you need to go there in the late evening. Then you reach there at the sunset and sunrise 6 a.m. to see the sun rising. Very nice view according to many people. So third visit, plenty of travel. Please go back and read thoroughly. I have no time to go through every detail. Okay? So this is the 3 visits to Sri Lanka. Okay, we come back to the life history of Buddha again. The royal patrons of Buddha, they play a significant role. Okay? So you need to continue remembering all these history lines one after another. So remember, Buddha promised to this King Bimbisara. So when Buddha was enlightened, remember the Jalatikas, they got 1,000 monks. So with Buddha with 1,000 monks set upon Rajagaha on Arms Round, as promised fiercely to King Bimbisara to visit him upon enlightenment. So our Buddha met this so-called the king. He delivered this Maha Arada Kasapa Jatalika to the audience and the king. And they took 3 refuge, and the king gained the first sainthood. And the king invited all the monks and Buddha for the palace arms round the following day. So after that, the king Bimbisara offered this Veruvana bamboo grove. This is the very first monastery to the Sangha to stay in have one place to stay rather than roaming down everywhere. So this is the very first monastery. So our Buddha spent 3 rainy seasons at this place. So after King Bimbisara performed his Dhamma during the night, he was disturbed in the dream by this departed past relative. Because he done this marriage, this departed spirit wouldn't get anything. So he performed this dana and another dana to the Sangha as advised by the Buddha, and he sent this marriage to the departed ones by transfer of marriage after dana, as is cited in the Tira Dukkha Sutta, Tiro Kuda Sutta. Okay. And then read now some more. I only can give you the surface thing. Then King Bimbisara was murdered by the son Ajasattu through brutal acts and died in prison. So read up the whole story for more detail. Next king, very close to our Buddha, is this king Brahmaja the Kosala, or we call him Kosala. So this king is of same age as Buddha, and because he also have contact with other religion teachers. So he thought this Buddha, the blessed one, was enlightened. So our Buddha, in order to convince him, delivered a sermon, and he became convinced that Buddhist is the right teaching, and subsequently become a lay follower. This particular lady from the Sakya, because in the past, those people between the royals, they try a connection to each other. So in a way, they have, in a way, they become bigger and strong. When because the connection, it become associate. So what happened is that this queen was not a royal, it's a Sakya slave, and was married to this King Kosala. And then thing happened when this son thinks Daha attained the throne. He knew that this incident and he was very angry and waged war on the Sakya. That's why how the Sakya was wiped off. In another incident, King Kosala was not happy with King Malika because she gave birth to a baby girl. So Buddha also preached on why the baby girl, the female, can be of equality to the male. So finally, he got convinced by this so-called the perception, wrong perception. And then King Kosala, who contributed his own son to the Sangha, and also his sister to the Sangha community, and he also erected Raja Karama Monastery for the monks to stay. So in a way, this king are those that are supporters of the Buddhism. So the rest read up your own notes for more details. Very fast. Next one, Buddha disciple. You need to know all this, please. If you don't know, please go back and please go back and please go back and study again. Remember, Korea and Upatissa. There's two Burmese families who are close friends and live together in the same village. These two of them were seeking the truth. So they promised each other that whoever found the truth will inform each other. So the one that found it is Upatissa. One day he came upon this Venerable Asaji. Remember the 5 monks? One of them, Asaji. He was doing his amswang. And now this Upatissa came upon him and asked him, and story long-winded, you go and read yourself. So by his persuasion, Asaji had to give something to him, what he had known. So he gave this stanza of all things from a cause, and then how this is, and you attain the first sainthood after listening to this particular stanza. So upon gaining his first sainthood, this Upatissa quickly passed the same stanza to Kulita, and he too gained the first sainthood. So for them, now the same. So from what they know, these two of them are learning under this Sanjaya. So they find that Sanjaya teaching is of inferior, so cannot answer their truth. So he told Sanjaya and his followers. So Sanjaya will not follow. So his followers, half of them, joined together with these two Upatissa and Kolita. They went to visit Buddha at Veluvana Grove. and both were ordained as chief disciple, Moggallana and Sariputta, and soon both attained arahantship. Because why early? They should be early follow. Those monks should be chief disciple. How come these two? Because these two have a special thing which they able qualified to be chief disciple. That's why they are waiting for this moment to happen. You go and read to your notes, it will tell you the long story. Because both of them will aspire to be chief disciple in the previous existence, thus bypass the hierarchy and compare to the earlier disciple. So read your notes thoroughly. So next one, we continue. Visit to Kalivasu, that means back to his hometown. So King Sudana, every time I assign his men to oppose Buddha, then expect them to return. Instead, all of them become monks. So his last task, he appointed minister Kalu Dai. This is also related to our Buddha. He also assigned this task to him, asked the Buddha to come back, but he promised him when he able to bring the Buddha back, he can be a monk. So Buddha, as promised to his monk, took 2 months to reach the hometown. And then when he reached down there, our Buddha is going to be enlightened. But all the elders in the old Sakya, they don't believe that he's enlightened. So Buddha had to perform the second time, the twin miracle to convince them. Then for the third time, this King Sudana pay the third respect. All these events you need to know. First, second respect, when. And next morning, the Sangha went to the town for alms because our king never catered the meals for them. So next morning, the Sangha went to the town for alms. Was a shock to the king's pride. The king, I'm the king. Then my own son have to take people's given food. So Buddha clarified with the king that this is a practice of the monks. So the king invited the Sangha for the next day dana at the palace. So the king to attain the first sainthood and second sainthood after the dana servant. So you see how fast they're able to progress. So the rest, read yourself encounter between Buddha and Yasoda. I know and go a long winter story between Buddha and his ex-wife. Okay? Read and continue. Then we come to Buddha disciple. Whenever Nanda, sorry. Is a Prince Nanda, is the son of Pajapati Gotami. I mean the step brother. So on this particular day of this Prince marriage, Buddha was there. He attended, and the trouble there, he left the alms bowl with the Nanda and start leaving. So Nanda had no choice. He left the palace, and Nanda, out of respect, followed Buddha back to his residence, abandoning his wife. Because on this day, he's going to marry his wife. So the wife screaming behind him, he wouldn't care. Because Buddha more important, so follow him. So he blindly followed, and Buddha brought him to the place where he stayed. Immediately, Buddha ordained the prince as a monk upon reaching his residency against his wishes. This prince wouldn't want to be a monk. He want to get married. So to convince Nanda to be a monk, he took him to Tawatimsam heaven to see the celestial maidens who were more beautiful than his wife, in order for him to attract him to stay at Sangha in exchange. So you want to be a Sangha member? I give you beautiful maiden. So this Nanda was attracted because of the sight of the beautiful Metta. So upon joining the Sangha, he was ridiculed by fellow monk for his objective. Join the monk to be with the maidens. And then finally, he changed for the good and attained arahantship. Next one, we cover Venerable Rahula. He was the son of Prince Siddhartha and Yasoda when he decided to renounce upon the birth of baby. The same thing happened. He followed, because the mother asked to approach Buddha for his heritage. So he followed Buddha to his residence when the mother asked the son to approach Buddha for his inheritance at the age of 7. So he said, ask your father, inheritance. So the Buddha brought him all the way back. You know what he did? Buddha asked Venerable Sariputta to ordain Rahula immediately. So King Sodana, the father, was deeply hurt as he lost 2 sons to the Sangha, and now the grandson. So the king approached the Buddha not to ordain anyone without parents' permission. That is how Vinaya rules come about. Thus, from the event, a Vinaya rule was formed. So Samanera Rahula, his son, was well disciplined and is a culture and ready to accept instruction from his superior. Thus, his progress of spiritual pretty fast and fully ordained on the 14th year after Buddha's enlightenment. So Rahula attained the arahantship after listening to Chula Rahu Vada. This is a discourse given by Buddha. So he was famous or excelled in the terms of discipline among all the monks. Next, Venerable Ananda. He was a cousin of Siddhartha and born on the same day. And he was ordained with a group of relatives as monks. So Venerable Ananda attained Sotapatti, first sainthood, after a sermon by this Venerable Puna. Then, at the age of 55, he became the Buddha chief attendant. But in exchange, before he agreed to this, he told Buddha that to preach to him all the discourse that he had not heard when Buddha delivered on that day. So whatever he not heard, Buddha in exchange had to run through the discourse for him for that particular day. So our Ananda was a good in memory retention and was thus classified, given the name custodian of Dhamma. So in a way, he played a significant role in the first Buddhist council in authenticating of Dhamma, as he heard most of the discourse during the Blessed One existence. So one among the many that have a grasp of every what Buddha spoken. So what happens is that our Venerable Ananda, he attained arahantship on the eve of Buddhist council in order to qualify as one of the qualified senior monks to attend the assembly of 500 monks. He too played a role of helping to set up the formation of the nun order, how the Bhikkhuni order was set. The rest, read further all the other details on Venerable Ananda on yourself. Please go back and read again. Next one, Venerable Mahakassapa. He was born of a Brahmin family. The parents make an arranged marriage proposal. And he was very well-behaved person. So the parents arranged marriage, he has agreed. So he never consummate the marriage because agreed between he and his wife that both of them also born during this time in order to get enlightened. So they too agree that to carry on living a celibate life. So after the death of their parents, both were then separated and intend to become monk and nun. So upon that particular time, Buddha know his intention and met him between this Nalanda and Rajagaha, the journey there. So Buddha found him suitable for ordination and highly qualified to be ordained for higher ordination. And thus was known as Mahakassapa Thera. He bypassed all the various stages. So he was a higher ordained monk. And Mahakassapa was noted for his great compassion and modesty. And unlike others, he lived in a jungle hermitage and similar appearance as Buddha. I mean, he lived mostly all the time in the jungle. And he has a similar appearance as Buddha. So when you are far away, you can see that he appeared as a second Buddha. So when he and his retinue of monks was traveling to Kusinara, he heard of the passing away of Buddha. And then when he was the last one to reach, to kindle the fire for the Buddha's cremation, because nobody able to ignite the fire, only when this Mahakassapa present. Then he's the last one to ignite the fire for the cremation. And remember, in the first council, it said that an old monk remark prompted him to initiate the holding the first Buddhist council to authenticate all the Buddha's teaching. Okay, so this one cover Mahakassapa. Let's go back and read for more. Okay, next one, we look at the patrons of Buddha. These are the people who supported Buddha. A wealthy merchant, Anatta Pindika, very famous, who lived during the time of Buddha. He is known as one of the Buddha's most devoted lay followers and a great benefactor of the Buddhist community. He met the Buddha in the early years of the Buddha teaching career and became his disciple. He was so impressed by the Buddha's teaching that he decided to dedicate his life and wealth to supporting the Buddhas and his monastic community. His role in building the Jetavana monastery in Savatthi, is the only one that built this, which became one of the most important centers of Buddhist learning and practice. He, remember, you're going to read back the storyline. He purchased the land for the monastery from the prince and he used the gold ingot to cover every inch of the land. And then he donated it to the Buddha and the monastery community. And he oversaw the construction of the monastery and provide for the needs of the monks who live there. An example of importance supporting the spiritual path and using one's wealth resources for the benefit of others. He is one of the great examples. Rich men that really support Buddha. Then in your text, YMBA text, Kala was the son of Anatta Pindika, the wealthy merchant who was devoted to lay follower Buddha in ancient India. So Kala is known for his own devotion to Buddha and his role in supporting the Buddhist monastic community. And the son also played a part, but it's not so as easy as said. Early years, the father forced him to attend Buddha's sermon, which he trying to avoid at all costs. So the father, Anatta Pindika, promised him if he listened to the sermon and learn one line of stanza, he will get 1,000 coins. So Buddha, to his psychic power, knew and preached the right meaning to him to attain the first state of sainthood. So, you know, Buddha, very good for fitting thing to each and every follower that come upon him. So by using this skillful means, Kala became a disciple of Buddha and also supported the monastic community with his wealth and resources. This is in your text, you need to know. Next one, Rasika. also a famous lady. Rasika, also known as Rasika Devi, was a wealthy merchant's daughter and devout lay follower of the Buddha. So Rasika was born in a wealthy family in the city of Rajagaha, but she became interested in the Buddha's teaching at a young age. So she convinced her husband and family to become followers of the Buddha as well. Early part, the family was against Buddhism. They are of the other practice. So Rasika, particularly known for support for Buddhist monastic community. She built several monasteries and donated land and resources to the monastic community. She also provided food and clothing and other necessities to the monks and nuns who lived there. Rasika was famous for her knowledge of the Buddhist scripture and her ability to teach others about Buddha teaching. She was a respected spiritual leader in her own right and helped to spread the Dhamma to others. Okay, the rest in your notes, please read through yourself. Next one, we come to the Bhikkhuni Sasana. In the early years of Buddhism, women were not allowed to join the monastic community as fully ordained nuns. Women, in the old Indian culture, woman is inferior. So this changed during the time of Buddha, when he decided to allow women to be fully ordained as nuns in the recognition of their spiritual potential and commitment to the Dhamma. So this Pajapati Gotami, the stepmother of the Buddha, was the first female to plead with the Buddha to allow females to join the order. I'm not going to go through the whole story, so you can read through yourself how the process and difficulties she faced during that time with the full understanding, especially Ananda, whenever Ananda played a role in helping her to convince Buddha. Buddha was totally against. So the establishment of the Bhikkhuni Sasana was a significant moment in the history of Buddhism, as it allowed women to participate fully in the spiritual path and to become respected spiritual leaders in their own right. Many of the Buddha's female disciples, including Mahajapati Gotami, the Buddha's stepmother, Kema, Upalavana, and many others, became renowned for their spiritual attainment and contribution to the Buddhist community. Next one, Bhikkhuni Kema. She was a queen of King Bhimbisara, was one of the foremost female disciple of the Buddha, and a respected spiritual leader of early Buddhist community. She is known for her spiritual attainment and her role in promoting Dhamma, particular to women. Kema was known for her exceptional spiritual attainment, including the attainment of arahantship. She is also known for eloquent and skilled in teaching in the Dhamma to others. The rest, read the full detail how the process she became a bhikkhuni. Okay? Please read to yourself. Next one, Bhikkhuni Upalavana. She was a daughter of a wealthy millionaire who did not want her to get married and asked her parents' permission to be a nun. So the parents have no choice, because all the married was thrown out by her. So she is known for her spiritual attainment and her role in promoting Dhamma to women. Upalavana was known for her exceptional spiritual attainment, including attainment of 6 higher knowledge. These include the ability to see past life, to perceive the thought of others, and to attain various meditative states. It was said that she was able to attain arahantship within a fortnight. She was held an example of the potential for spiritual attainment and leadership of both men and women in the Buddhist community. Next one, Bhikkhuni Bada Kacana is known as Venerable Bada Kula Kesa, also elder disciple, one of the 4 disciples, the Bhikkhuni, and respected spiritual leader in the earliest Buddhist community. She was known for wisdom and a role in promoting Dhamma to women. Buddha Kacana was particularly interested in promoting Dhamma to women. She was said to have converted many women to the Buddhist path through her teaching and to inspire other women to become bhikkhunis. That's why the bhikkhuni expand. And your brother cannot tahan, cannot finish all everything. So qualities of Sama Sambuddha, we speak and read to the six kind of knowledge, and also read the 10 powers of Buddha. All inside the notes, read through yourself. Okay, come to next one. Vinaya Pitaka. The 7 categories of offense. Parajika, Sangadesesa, Tulejaya, Pachitiya, Patidesaniya, Dukata, Dubhasita. So these first 2, if any monks committed the first 2, are grave offenses, so expelled from the Sangha. The remaining 5 light offenses are renewable. Let me commit 3 to 7. These are minor offense. You do something to compensate, but first 2 are very serious one. So you need to go through each and every one of them. For those year 2, no choice. You don't know, 9 times must go and open up and read up yourself. And brother almost no voice already. So please read through yourself. And then the 5 Vinaya Pitaka books, you need to know it well. What are the 5 books? Parajika Pali, Pachitiya Pali, Mahavaga Pali, Chulavaga Pali, and Parivara Pali. Please go through and also read up yourself. And next one. What are Dhamma Vihara? There are 4 Dhamma Vihara represent the most beautiful and hopeful aspect of our human nature. They are mindfulness practices that protect the mind from falling to the habitual pattern of reactivity which delay our best intention. I mean, to protect yourself from doing that. Okay? So if you have this, especially those on the higher attainment, you need to have all these 4 factors. Metta, loving kindness, karuna, compassion, mudita, appreciative joy, upekha, equanimity. So go back and learn each factor in detail. Typical question in year 2. So have to remember and cook up something. Slowly learn. You still got 4 more months, can able to attain it. Harami, perfection. It is described in Buddhist commentary as noble character, quality, generally associated with enlightened beings. So perfection, like our Buddha, over the Bodhisattva life, be able to achieve all these 10. Generosity, dana, discipline, sila, renunciation, nikama, wisdom, pana, energy, virya, patience, kanti, truthfulness, satya, determination, adhitana, loving kindness, metta, equanimity, upekha. Okay, go back and understand each term thoroughly, please. 5 books of rice difficult to consume. Slowly every week you'll be able to consume it. Then year 2, you must know this 4 Noble Truths, the foundation teaching of Buddhism. For all the various sects of Buddhism, every one of them must have these 4 Noble Truths, else it is not called Buddhism. The first Noble Truth is the recognition that suffering is a universal part of human experience. This suffering can take in many forms, including physical pain, emotions, distress, and spiritual turmoil. And the second Noble Truth states that suffering arises from craving and attachment. We suffer because we want things to be different than they are, and we cling to things that are impermanent and ultimately become unsatisfying. The Noble Truth teaches the suffering can be overcome by letting go of any attachment and desire. The state of freedom from suffering is known as Nibbana. Then fourth noble truth is the Eightfold Path. It's a prescription, which includes a practical framework of living a life that leads to cessation and suffering. The Eightfold Path consists of right understanding, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. All these go back. And if you don't know again, read thoroughly. So by following this path, one can cultivate wisdom and ethical conduct and mental discipline, which lead to the ultimate goal of Nibbana. Okay? This is also in the surface one. Go back, read thoroughly. No end. Theravada Buddhist Council. You year 2, you need to know thoroughly the first 3 council in year 1. You need to know it very clear. So in the 4 Buddhist council in Sri Lanka, you need to know thoroughly the need and cause of council. And the first time Tipitaka recorded in Sinhalese in Ola leaves. Sorry, without an S. So please go back and do revision of the 4 Buddhist council, and 3 Buddhist council need to know what was conducted in Burma. And 6 Buddhist council need to know how was conducted in Burma too. So read all the notes thoroughly for full understanding. And brother, most no noise, no voice here. So next one, Dhammapada. You need to learn and translate the following verses from Pali to English. 12, 33, 41, 43, 50, 53, 60, 61, 82, 85, 109, 204. And if you are doing translation, if you have time, I need to provide a brief description of the moral story behind each. Okay? With this, my final one, end year 2. So sadhu to everyone. Next week, and next session, we will cover the exam question. Okay, this will be the, let me see, for, I intend to cover this in the next session. Okay, so year 2, have you all done this? 209, Dhamma. If you have, then I won't do it. Okay, if you all no answer, I will expect that you have not done it. Then I'll send this to you all, to Sumita. Then you all start practicing, and then on the next session when we meet, ask all those who are taking the year 2, including year 1, to try and answer all these questions. Okay. Then for year 1,
Brother Lau.
Yeah, you can't see it.
Can I see something?
Wait. Let you all see. Hold on.
Okay.
Sorry. I thought you all seen it. This one. Have you all done now? 2009. Okay.
I think we have tried on our own. Maybe more recent one will be better, right? Because
You never done the, I thought you have done the recent one.
Ago.
Hello?
Yeah, I think also we have done that, but I can't remember exactly.
If you have anyone post it to the group, then we also cover if you got a paper. If you have last year one, last year there's one, 2021. If you got that one, good.
Last year, I don't think we have. Unless
you go
someone
other
has
center, they have.
Oh.
Maybe in
You
Singapore.
cover most of the earlier one by your brother Lim. If you want, you can post any more beside this. Then we will do it during the next session. I want every of you all to participate. All right. You can inform the chat group if you want to cover the papers. I will post this to you all. If you are done, then you can forgo this one. If not, then we'll cover. All right. Because I hopefully got time to cover as many as possible. Because we also can't expect what kind of question after 4 years, whether they make any funny changes. Because this is a external paper, I have no idea what they will say. Okay? Any
Is there
question?
any change, Brother Lau? Is there any change on the syllabus?
Around these topics, you have to know it well.
Okay. So syllabus wise, there's no
Syllabus same.
notification that
They cannot change. But 4 years already, you all, I don't know what changes they make. So best you read everything. Because previously, when they consistently set question, we can gauge where they target. But now, over this number of 4 years, I can't give you any of these hints. You think anyone you wish to cover, post it in the chat group. Then we'll cover in the next session. All right. And this is for year one.
So, Brother Lau, year one, you want to discuss which year?
Yes. I give you this one. Let me.
You let us know which year we need to do that. Then we
Let
can
me
discuss.
share. You don't.
Okay, so
Hold on. Where is it now?
can see.
Can you see?
Yeah.
Year one.
What we see is Junior Part 1 for
Wait.
year
Let
2009.
me see. Hold on. I close too many sessions. Hold on. Or I send it to you better in the chat
Okay.
group. You see, if not appropriate, then we change. All right. I send to Sumita, then everybody look through. If you are not happy with that one, we change to another one. I remember for year one, we cover all the early years, the 2000 something one, all already series, number of series covered. All right. Sister Sumita, I will send to you.
Actually, if you can, you send to the group, then I can forward to Junior too.
Yeah. I send it to you, you forward to group. Any change, please tell me.
Okay.
We are. I think I can share. You hold on. Okay. So thank you everybody. We'll meet next session. Your sister Sumita will arrange the time and the date. All right. Any more further question you want to attend, please post out. Those that we never try. All right. This is what your brother wanted. Any questions? So, Sister Sumita, we close and then we can do your chanting.